Our next guest is an award-winning attorney who has climbed the corporate ladder and brokered billion-dollar deals, but always had a passion for helping others. So she decided to leave her job and dedicate her life to try and reform the criminal justice system. No easy task. But for Britney Barnett, it's personal. After growing up watching her mother succumb to drug addiction and multiple jail sentences, she was inspired to represent nonviolent drug offenders, most of them black, and facing lifelong sentences pro bono. She has since managed to free numerous individuals from harsh sentences imposed by federal drug laws, including 7 clients who received executive clemency from former President Obama. This is all detailed in her memoir, A Knock at Midnight, a story of hope, justice, and freedom, which is being released in paperback edition on August 3rd. And she joins us now along with Chris Young, a client of Britney's who was granted clemency in the final days of former President Trump's tenure. We thank you both for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having us.
And Britney, I'd like to start with you. As mentioned, this is personal for you. Your mother struggled with addiction. You saw it all around you in your community while growing up. But it wasn't until you came across the case of Sharonda Jones in 2009. What about her case stuck out to you and caused you to represent her?
Sharonda's case stuck out to me and just tugged at my soul. She was a black daughter of the rural South like me, except I was a law student at SMU in Dallas, and she was serving her 10th year of a life without the possibility of parole sentence for her first ever offense, felony or otherwise. And it was just unfathomable to me that she was set to die in prison.
And when you started representing defendants pro bono, what about the justice system did you find out that made you realize it wasn't going to be an easy battle, even if the optics of certain cases made it seem that way?
Just how deeply embedded in our laws are these implications that disproportionately impact Black and brown people. I knew that this racial bias that bleeds through the legal system, it was not going to be an easy task to overcome. But I also knew from experiencing the incarceration of my own mom that human lives were at stake. And that was the most important aspect of it to me.
And so far, you've successfully gotten clemency for 11 clients in the past 6 years. You've also secured freedom for 28 people sentenced to life in prison for federal drug offenses, including Chris. But there are still millions locked up. In your view, what is it truly going to take to revamp the criminal justice system in the United States?
The criminal legal system in this country is completely flawed in its design. We have to completely transform the system, and that's going to take us as a country reimagining what justice looks like. This country spends roughly $80 billion a year on incarceration, and reimagining if these funds were reallocated to education, to healthcare, to funding justice impacted entrepreneurs. There's just nothing more urgent than freedom, and there's so much human potential and ingenuity locked up that America truly needs to thrive.
Nothing more urgent than freedom. Chris, I'd like to bring you in here. You were serving a life sentence for drug-related offenses, and Britney reached out to you back in 2017. What did she say to you in her initial outreach?
She immediately showed a level of compassion and consideration that I hadn't experienced, and I appreciate it. She told me she had read about me and that she wanted to help, and that she was already in the midst of trying to reach out to the judge that resigned in my case. That same week that she reached out, my former sentencing judge, Kevin H. Sharp, had resigned from his post and said he wanted to dedicate his life to trying to help me and others who were impacted by mandatory minimums.
And Chris, staying with you for a moment, your case was a bit different because your sentencing judge, as you just mentioned, Judge Kevin H. Sharp, who at the time was a U.S. federal judge in Tennessee, actually resigned, as you said, in protest over the mandatory minimum sentence required in your case. Did his resignation give you any hope that your case could possibly be overturned in that moment?
Yes, ma'am. Hope isn't even the word. I was jubilant and ecstatic at the news of Britney and Judge Sharp. Both of them happened within the same week. So it was exactly what I needed. It was that fill up at the gas tank to keep me going. I had the last mile, and I didn't realize it was the last mile, but it definitely gave me the gas I needed to get on past the finish line.
I would say so jubilant as a response. And Britney, a lot of reviews of the book call this a memoir, but also a call to action. What's your hope for people after they read this?
My hope for people is that they see the human element of it. My mom was incarcerated. That brought me really proximate to this issue. My mom is home. She's doing amazing. My clients are being freed and doing great, but there's so many people still buried alive under these draconian drug sentences. And I hope that the reader will feel the heartbeats, feel the stories on each page, and that my clients impact them the way that they impacted me to drive impactful change in this country. We are unlocking people and unlocking potential.
Britney and Chris, we thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us tonight. Wish you all the best. A reminder that a paperback version of Britney's memoir, A Knock at Midnight, A Story of Hope, Justice, and Freedom, will be released August 3rd.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.